What is up? It's a bit of an unusual video because today I want to speak about just a life story. I think why not I tell this because it's pretty cool. So as you know, if you've been watching the channel, I am from Ukraine. I moved to the UK 3 years ago. I'm 16 now, and I'm just going to tell you a story about what it was like. I basically ended up in a occupied area, basically an invaded area where essentially there was Russian troops, like soldiers. I was in a captured village, but we will get to that later. Let's just start with the very first day. I wake up, right? I had so many troubles at school. I had so many assignments that were due. School in Ukraine is really hard, especially compared to school in the UK. So I wake up, I'm thinking, okay, I've learned this like text that I have to tell to the teacher. I'm like rehearsing it in my head, and then I'm thinking to myself, it's so early, it's 6 in the morning, how am I awake? So I'm thinking, okay, I think I remember it. I'm just gonna go on my phone, scroll on TikTok. I see an average video on TikTok, I go in the comments, people are just discussing that they've heard explosions and stuff like this. I go to the kitchen, my mum's there, and yeah, we find out that the war started. It was a shock, but it was a shock that we were kind of potentially warned about, but most people refused to believe in it. So we find out that the war happened. It was obviously absolutely terrible times. Sirens, explosions, planes flying, honestly no idea what to do. You're calling all your family, seeing if everyone's okay. People were massively leaving the country, so it's impossible to drive. Things are getting blown up. Luckily we were in the capital, which is compared to all the rest of the cities, it is way safer. But a lot of people died that day. People were dying that day, and perhaps the first day maybe wasn't the most dangerous day because back then they weren't attacking all the random, all people. Yeah, but now, as you know, they just attack whatever there is. They just attack the houses. They don't care. You know, in the past they maybe infrastructure. Now they haven't cared for ages. Okay, I think less than a month into the war they just started bombing everything. But anyways. So all of this stuff happens, and I think after like 3 or 4 days of like super sad things, we thought it would be safer to leave the city and go into the outside of Kiev, which is the capital, to our grandparents who were in a village. So we did that. It was, guys, it was honestly so stressful. I had to take my cat and my dog, who were both naughty as shit. They were always trying to run away. Oh my god, that was actually really stressful. Just not losing one of the pets, and then like if something flies by or something loud happens, the cat just starts scratching your back. Basically, we managed to get on this train that was for free. We got to our grandparents. I think it was, how much was it? I think it was like the second week of us being there. Oh guys, this was the worst moment of my life. So it's our second week, the war's still on, my passport has a problem. It's hard to leave the country. We don't know how I'm gonna leave, what am I gonna do, where to go, how to get somewhere and extend it. Like, what is actually going on? What is the next step? You can't really live like this. School doesn't matter anymore. All those due assignments and all this bullshit that my teachers were telling me and laughing at me for not knowing the stupid shit they were teaching, all of that is irrelevant. Even till now, me missing out on learning all those things means nothing because my life fully restarted anyways, which is kind of ironic. So yeah, basically the teachers were telling me information that was useless for the past at least like year of school. So basically, I'm gonna say it was almost the second week of being at the grandparents, and news comes out that there are these Russians that are starting to enter the village. So obviously that was kind of scary because they're in the village, but like my grandparents hurry up to tell me. They're like, well, you're not gonna die, they're not gonna kill you, they're just here probably because they're low on resources and fuel or something like this, and they want to go here to maybe refill or just chill, because obviously the Ukrainians aren't going to bomb their own village where the Russians are. So essentially, I remember posting a story on Instagram. I think I posted, that like I'm cooked. Well, it was actually obviously not as nice. It didn't sound as nice as that. I posted that story. I mean, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was telling her, and the last message I texted her was, "Hopefully I don't die," something along those lines. And then since they were there, the power cut off. And the first day my phone was still charged. I had Squid Game downloaded on it, and I had about 20%, and I was just watching as much as I could, dying from boredom as a kid. He was just hiding himself in his phone because that's the only thing I could do. So I was just watching Squid Game, then my phone ends up dying. That day ends up being one of the worst days of my life. and especially, no, probably the day after was even worse because we had no water, no power, no mobile devices. We're all together in the shit because we're all getting bombed. Like, there was crazy shit flying above the house. Like, literally, the neighborhood villages were getting bombed and stuff, just flying right above us, whistling, and we don't know where it's gonna land. Maybe someone miscalculates the shot, boom, it's landing on us. And so the only thing you could do is just cry and pray. I mean, what else? You actually can't do anything else, okay? So I think it was day 4 comes around. No, day 3, okay? We decide, me, mom, and my granny decide that we are gonna walk away. You can't drive because if the Russians see you, they will shoot your car down. Some people managed to agree because their kid was like really ill and they had to talk to the Russians and then put a white flag on so they're allowed to drive out of the village and get into the like other parts, which are obviously the Ukrainian parts that have not been invaded, occupied, call it what you want. We couldn't have that privilege. We couldn't do that. Plus our car, I think there's problems with the car. Basically, that was not happening, and even if it would have, they could just change their mind, you know? So it's, the worst thing you could do is go speak to them. So what me, my mum and my granny decide is we are gonna just walk. Literally, we're just gonna walk. We're gonna wake up early in the morning and try and go the safe route, and then potentially, well not potentially, at least we were expected to get searched and stuff. So obviously the money, the documents, you just hide it, and yeah, we were on our way in like 6 in the morning, and honestly I was like, yes, I don't care what happens, let's do this. I've been here for 4 days, it's been absolute torture. Let's do this. I wanna try change my life. It's only been, I think the morning was day 5 actually, but regardless of that, I'm like, yes, let's get out of here. I'm totally down. Because I've had no power, no electricity, no nothing. I've been depressed, crying, upset, just, the only thing that was there was just my dog. That's what was cheering me up. And I just remember every hour just checking the light if it's on or off. Like if there's power, just something, because I wanted to at least go on my phone and speak to my people, but I couldn't. Just really miserable, just absolute miserable life. Those 5 days were like the worst because you don't know if you're gonna survive. I remember the parents arguing over whether we should like stay in the house or where we should go. Oh, it was horrible. Regardless of this, I'm like, yes, let's walk. I was really tall for my age. I was like almost 6 foot when I was 13 and shit. So my granny was like, you've got to dress weird so you don't look like you're like old, because basically if you're a guy, like a 70-year-old, maybe older, or a man, if the Russian soldiers see you, they are just probably gonna, no, not probably, they will shoot you. They'll just shoot you, they won't let you off. They'll let off a mum with a child or an old person, potentially. So we go, and our granny basically tells us the tactics, how we actually have to go so we don't get caught. So I'm like, okay, let's go. We've left. I remember this homeless dog, no, not this homeless dog, our neighbor's dog was with us because the neighbors just left it. I was like, that's horrible. They just left the dog on its own, and the dog just walked with us the whole way. Luckily, we did not encounter the Russians, which was surprising, and yes, I think we didn't expect, because we thought we would. At least we were really prepared for that. And I was like, yeah, this will happen. So we walked for about an hour and a half. We could even hear stuff while we were walking, stuff flying and exploding a little bit in the distance, and like, I was like, oh please, just don't be near us. Cloudy, dark, cold day, wearing about 3 layers. I had really long hair at the time as well. I was skinny. So we're walking, and then we make it to actual Ukrainian soldiers after about an hour. We were so lucky and privileged. Well, I don't know if you call it the lookout position, but most people died, okay? So, yes, I would say we were lucky. Everyone in my family right now is still alive, because it's only me and my mom who live here. Everyone else lives in Ukraine, so everyone's luckily alive. And yeah, if you don't know, the war's still on, nothing has changed. I don't know, I think everyone should know that. I think everyone needs to know that. But anyways, so we actually start making it to the Ukrainian, like, I don't know, basis, I guess. Yeah, you could say that. There was loads of soldiers there. You just show them your documents and they're like, yep, you're off. And so we kept going. There was this like, this bridge that was blown up, like it was legitimately blown up, in order for vehicles, which could be tanks, etc., to not enter essentially, to not enter that territory because that bridge was crossing. So we had to jump over that exploded bridge, and this other guy on the other side helped us. That's the point where we left my grandma and my dog, and they went the other way. Yeah, Granny was not leaving with us. She was coming back to Granddad. W Granny, you know, W Granny. I don't think women in this generation, not many would do that. W Granny. So she goes off. She was fine as well. But basically, before that, we saw all these Ukrainians. And actually, no, guys, she did cross the bridge with me. Sorry, this was 3 years ago, you know. She did cross the bridge with us. I mean, jumped over it. Yeah. And there was loads of these Ukrainian guys. And my granny's got like 10 out of 10 social skills. She managed everything. And basically one of these guys are like from totally different cities. They just get picked to go in certain cities. So the guy has no idea where to take us. And we had to find this, we're basically going to this war vehicle. I don't know how to say it in English, but we got into this vehicle. In the back, helmets, bullets, and there were no guns because that'd be weird. You could just grab it and nah. There was just all that ammunition, all of that stuff. And this guy's driving. He's like, okay, where do I go? Tell me, guys. Because he's taking us to the train station to get the fuck out of there and get back to Kiev and where we live. So we're like, we don't really know ourselves. We end up picking up a random grandma that just knows the way, and she was just telling him where to go. Bro, it was hilarious. It wasn't hilarious, but it was like, damn, is this actually happening? So we do end up getting there, we say goodbye, boom, and I actually made it home. And that was probably one of the stressful things explained really quickly. Fun fact, I'm gonna probably write my English language story about this, but obviously I'll build attention, do all those stupid techniques. I'll probably write the story about that, to be fair, because I can make it so, not over dramatic, but I can make it really like, I can really emphasize that emotive language and hyperbole, whatever. I'm not gonna get into the nerdy shit. And yeah, I think it was a 2-hour train, 3-hour train. I was so joyful to come back and then message back my people. People that I knew actually thought that like I died, because basically I did say, I think I'm cooked, they're in my village, and then, you know, I disappear for 5 days. What do you think to yourself? I mean, people are actually dying daily, and even right now. So what do you actually think to yourself? Yeah, bro, that's what happened. That is the story. I mean, I'm not gonna make it too over dramatic. Not over dramatic, but I'm not gonna like try to make you cry or something. That's it, kind of simply explained. But also, this is just to tell some people that don't know that the war in Ukraine is still on. People are still dying, and it's horrible. It's a mess. Yeah. But anyways, I hope that was pretty interesting. I don't know. I just felt like I could make a video about this, and my goal right now is to make as many videos as I can, kind of. So whatever I can do, I'm putting it out there, boys. Let me just do them wrist exercises from a broken wrist. It's not broken, but, you know, thank you for watching. Hope that was a pretty interesting story. If you want to know more, because I've got more, I can tell the whole story of how I got here. Let me know below, you know, we could do that. Hey, come on then. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching that video. Smash that like button.